Okay, so this is the fourth model which describes the structure of plasma membrane. So that is fluid mosaic model. Okay, right. So the fluid mosaic model was proposed by Singer and Nicholson. Okay, so Singer and Nicholson. Okay, right. So this is the most acceptable theory at present. Okay, so according to this theory states that all the biological membranes are semi-fluid in nature. Okay, so lipids and proteins are arranged in a mosaic model. Okay, mosaic model. Right. So lipids and proteins are in the plasma membrane. Lipids and proteins are transactionally they are moved from one place to another place. Okay. So generally, so lipids and proteins shows transitional movement. Okay. So lipids and proteins. So lipids and proteins generally show transitional movement. Okay, so transitional, okay, yeah, transitional movement, okay, right, in the bilayer of phospholipids. Okay, so this is the most acceptable point. Okay, those other theories are not explained. Okay, right. So this theory states that the phospholipids like a sea, which the proteins are present, they are floating like a ice cubes. So this is the structure of the model of the fluid mosaic model. So these are the phospholipids. So here we see these are the phospholipids. So phospholipids like a sea, okay, and which are present the proteins. These are the proteins which are present. They are like a floating ice cubes. They are like a floating ice cubes. Okay, right. So generally, if we take the phospholipids, okay, so generally the phospholipids has two parts. You know that one is hydrophobic. So this one is the hydrophilic. Yeah, hydrophilic. Yes, so hydrophilic generally present periphery. Okay, towards the periphery, and this one is the hydrophobic part. Okay, hydrophobic part, which is not dissolved in the water. Okay, they are present inwards. Okay, right, like this. But here if you know the arrangement of proteins, generally proteins are arranged in two ways. Okay, so some proteins are present between the phospholipids. Here we see these are the some proteins. These are the some proteins present between the phospholipids molecules. Okay, so these proteins are called as internal proteins. Okay, so internal proteins or integral proteins. Okay, which are present inside or between the phospholipids. And some proteins are external. That means they are present outside of the membrane, surface of the membrane. Okay, they are loosely packed, so they are called as external. Okay, external proteins. Okay, external proteins. Okay, like that. So this is the generally structure of the fluid mosaic model. Okay, right. So now these are the general theories. Okay, about explain about the structure of plasma membrane. Okay, now we know the function of the plasma membrane. Okay, what are the functions of plasma membrane? So first we know the here we write the functions of plasma membrane. Okay, functions of plasma membrane. So right, what is the use of plasma membrane? To cell. Okay, right. So plasma membrane, the first function is generally the plasma membrane gives support and shape of the cell. Okay, gives support. Okay, so support and shape. Okay, so shape of the cell. Okay, and the second one is generally it regulates the movement of ions. Okay, so regulates So regulates the movement, okay, the movement of ions and molecules, ions and various molecules, okay, inside and outside of the cell, okay. And the third one is it acts as a selective permeable and semi-permeable, okay. So selective and semi-permeable membrane, okay, right. So that means what is selective and semi-permeable membrane? Generally, if you take, this is the plasma membrane, it contains small apertures, okay, right. Here this is the outside of the cell, this is the inside. So this is the inside of the cell and this is the outside of the cell. Here there are many molecules, some large molecules, some large particles, and some are small particles, okay. So here generally the plasma membrane allows the particles according to their size of the pore, okay. It allows the particles according to the size of the pore. That means the minute pores are present, okay. So that means the small particles only enter through the pores, okay. Small particles only enter to the pores inside of the cell, okay. Yes, so this is called as a semi-permeable membrane, okay, right. The entry of particles according to their size of the pores, that means the small particles only allows it. And the selective permeable means if the cell needs the large particles, then also the large particles also enter inside of the cell by the modification of the membrane, by the process of endocytosis. Later on we discuss the endocytosis, okay. That is called selective permeable. If the cell needs the large particles, they are also entering into the cell by the process of endocytosis, okay, right. So this is about the selective and semi-permeable membrane, okay, right. So now we know about the other functions, okay. So that is called osmosis, okay. So osmosis. So what is osmosis? So osmosis means generally the transport of molecules across the plasma membrane from lower concentration to higher concentration, okay. Across the membrane, generally transport of molecules, okay, across the membrane from lower concentration to higher concentration. That is called as osmosis, okay, right. That means generally water and other solvents, okay, moves from lower concentration to higher concentration. So then another one is diffusion. Okay, right. So this is the another method. So diffusion means generally the transport of ions and other molecules, gases, okay. So these are transport from higher concentration to lower. Here the higher to lower, okay, higher concentration to lower concentration, okay, okay, right. So up to the movement will be held up to when the concentration, both sides of the concentration comes equal, okay. That means if you take, this is the plasma membrane, okay. Here we see the under the concentration, okay. Here we see the zero concentration molecules, okay. Then the molecules move from higher concentration to lower concentration, okay. So up to the movement will be held up to when the both sides of the concentration become equal, okay. That means here 50 and here 50 and here 50. Then the movement of the molecules will be stopped, okay, right. So this is about the diffusion, okay. So the diffusion is a generally passive transport. Diffusion is one of the passive transport, okay, passive process, okay. So passive process means it goes slowly, okay, it goes slowly, and it does not contain, it does not have any ATPs, okay. ATPs is not required in this process, passive process, okay. So diffusion is one of the passive process, okay. And the third one is facilitative. So facilitated or facilitated diffusion. Facilitative diffusion, okay. So what is facilitative diffusion? So facilitative diffusion means, okay, this is also transport of some substance. This is also one of the transport method. Transport of molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration. This is also okay. So diffuse the molecules from higher to lower. Okay, higher to lower concentration. Okay, but with the help of some protein substances, they are act as a carriers. Okay, the transport of molecules from higher to lower with the help of a protein carriers. With the help of a protein carriers. Okay, for example, this is the plasma membrane. Okay, this is one of the plasma. Okay, this is one of the plasma membrane. Okay, right. This is the plasma membrane. Here there is some carrier proteins. In the plasma membrane there is some carrier proteins. So these are the carrier proteins. Carrier proteins. Okay. So these carrier proteins carries some substances which are not able to move inside independently. Okay. So that type of substance will be bind here. Okay. Will be bind here. Okay. This is the some substance which is bind with the carrier proteins. Now the carrier proteins takes inside. Now the carrier proteins takes inside that substance. Okay, the substance move with the help of carrier proteins. Okay, so that is called as facilitative diffusion. For example, here glucose, amino acids, fructose, like these substances are not able to go inside the cell. They are moved with the help of carrier proteins. Okay, so this is about the facilitated diffusion. So remaining some functions we discuss about the another video.